Well, let's just go back to our conversation from the last time we were talking. We're talking about the Olympics.
Yeah, we've been talking. Yeah.
So let me just ask you straight up. What did you think? Should we have had the Olympics?
I've been thinking about the Olympics for many years actually. So really, but mind you, okay, I have utmost respect for those Olympic athletes who put tremendous amount of effort in realizing their dream. There's something most people cannot do. But what I'm about to say is maybe something they don't like. That doesn't mean I don't admire any less than most other people do. I just I think probably most people agree that a lot of people see a lot of problems with the way Olympics are held, or maybe too much commercialism, or maybe the way they pick venues is not really fair. Some unfair practices underway, maybe. But what I don't like about the event is that too many, maybe some powerful countries are using this event to showcase their national power. I mean, they use it to have their presence felt throughout the world. I mean, in other words, like maybe too much nationalism is involved. You see, for example, when you win the gold medal, right, you stand top of the highest podium with your national anthem being played, with your national flag being raised, getting whole attention from all over the world. Yeah, sure, leaders would like to see their, athletes from their countries, stand there. Which itself may not be so bad. And when I see a Japanese athlete standing on the highest podium and, and receiving gold medal, and I hear my national anthem, and I see my national flag being raised, it makes me feel really proud. Yeah, it makes me feel like my nation has won the victory. But that's okay, right? Yeah,
oh, sure.
That itself is okay. But my question is, what good does it do? What good does it do in terms of what the Olympics are intended to accomplish? I think the original intent of Olympics is really beautiful. Let this event contribute to helping realize the world peace, however small that contribution might be. But sometimes the exact opposite is happening. Nationalism is one of the greatest obstacles on the road to world peace, I think. So my idea is really wacky, kind of maybe some people would say it's stupid, but that's okay. My idea is like this. Why don't we make this the Olympics some kind of international undokai? You know what undokai is?
Yeah, of course.
Right? Okay. But maybe some viewers may not know what undokai is. Undokai is some kind of, let me explain, right, a little bit. Undokai is some kind of, athletic meet or sports festival or whatever you might want to call it. All right, that is annually held at elementary schools or junior high schools or high schools all across Japan. All right, and then and then in this event, maybe in the elementary schools, typically, all right, the whole students of one school is divided into two groups, and they are typically called the red team and the white team, and they compete against one another. Compete against each other, right? And they have many kinds of events like 50-meter race, relay, or tug of war, or steeplechase, or things like that. And when a student wins, when a student comes in first, for example, in a 50-meter race, all right, some points are given not to that individual student, but to the group he represents. Right, and then maybe if you come in second, maybe like I don't know, if for the first, or if you come in first, maybe 10 points. If you come in second, you maybe like 7 points, or for the third, maybe I don't know, 5 points or something. And at the end of the whole event, the team that has gotten the larger number of points would be the winner. And the students get really excited about it. All right. And then maybe in junior high school, the number of groups are maybe 3, 4, or high schools maybe like 5 or something like that. Right? Then, so how about that? You see, the Olympic symbol, 5 rings.
Yes.
All right. And 5 rings that represent the union of the 5 major continents in the world. So why don't we divide all countries in the world into 5 groups? But instead of doing it geographically, we do it. All right. Like we put, for example, adversaries into the same group. For example, Iran and the United States in the same group.
That's hilarious.
All right. And or India and Pakistan in the same group.
That's funny.
Maybe Israel or Palestine in the same group, things like that. And if you put China and the United States in one group, that group would be too big, maybe too powerful, too strong, maybe. So maybe for those kind of big countries like the United States or China, we divide those countries into several groups and separate them. But anyway, there's some kind of organization completely independent from any influence of any country would do the job of grouping. And when they do that, they make sure each group has an equal chance of winning. So it's kind of difficult, maybe. Very difficult, right? Tough job probably. But somehow, let's say we do it. And if we do that, yeah, imagine, for example, in the event of soccer or something, or a team made up of athletes from different countries from one group would be competing against another team made up of other different athletes from another group, right? And then they work together to win the game. That would be really great. You see, and the sweetest part of this idea is not that event per se, the Olympics per se. The sweetest part is maybe the process. You would have to train, right? Not maybe for the whole 4 year between 2 Olympics, but at least for 1 year before the Olympics, or maybe it's like 6 months before the Olympics. So they have to work together. And that would involve not only athletes from different countries, but also trainers, coaches, or maybe sponsors, or maybe media, and all or the people from different nationalities will work together to win the game. That would be great. Have you seen the movie Remember the Titans?
I have not seen it.
Starring Denzel Washington.
Okay, no, I've seen it.
And it's based on true story that took place in the United States in 1971.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe as part of civil rights movement.
Okay.
Some and the white kids and the black kids were put into the same football team. And first they hated each other's guts. But as they trained together and as they played games together, they gradually developed the sense of camaraderie and a strong bond. And it touches your heart. That could happen throughout the world. And if we could do that, the Olympics would probably play a better role in reaching the better world. That's my idea. What do you think? I know
you said you've been thinking. I mean, that's totally not what I was. Not even thought about what I was expecting to hear from you. But you said this is something you've been thinking about for a long time.
For a long time, yes.
Okay.
More than like 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
More than like 10 years. I've been thinking about it. Yeah. The reason why I came up with this idea is they often call it, they often call the Olympics like a kind of, here in this country at least, the International Festival for Peace.
Okay.
But when I saw some Olympics, where, for example, it was kind of Beijing Olympics, I think, or I would say, okay, but okay, no offense to people in China, okay, but okay, no offense, okay. But at least I heard some spectators, or as it was reported, they said every time Japanese athletes played, they said things like drop dead or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
It made me feel bad, but maybe to larger or smaller extent, maybe people might be doing it. Because of this kind of the way that this event is kind of organized or presented. In my idea, when you win the gold medal, the song you would hear wouldn't be your national anthem. The song of one of those 5 groups that you represent. And the flag that would be raised wouldn't be your national flag, the flag of that group. So that would probably give us some kind of sense of, especially kind of people who are watching it. All right, it gives them some sense of belonging to one huge international community. I think that's better. You'll be rooting for athletes from countries that you would otherwise never do. Maybe not as much as you would root for the athletes from your own country, but still, I don't. Okay, but in the 2020 Tokyo Games, in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, yeah, I've seen some kind of heartwarming moments, really great moments. Like for example, this skateboarder, female skateboarder, or a very young lady. Her name is, I think, Miss Okamoto, and she failed. She tried very difficult technique, and she failed. And when she failed for the third straight time, she burst into tears. Yeah, because she ranks the top in the world, the first.
Sure.
Right, but she burst into tears, and because she couldn't win the gold medal. And then other skateboarders from different countries came up to her and patted her on the back and put her on their shoulders, trying to cheer her up.
That's
and
awesome.
She was still crying, but at the same time, she was smiling too. That kind of moment. Or maybe in the event of high jump, athlete from Italy and another athlete from Qatar, they both got the gold medal. They both they both cleared 37 meters, I think.
Okay.
And they couldn't go any higher. And instead of going to a kind of tie break, they asked the organizing committee to let them share the gold medals, and the committee accepted it.
Yeah,
that's great. And they honored each other's great performance. That was great. Yeah, we do see those great heartwarming moments, but at the same time, I would say it would, at the same time, it would bring out some nationalism in us. So I know this is kind of wacky idea, but
it's pretty heavy. Going back to the booing, I mean, there's always booing with there's competition, right?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, the Japanese media might have sensationalized it, maybe.
In the example, I mean, that's probably more of like conflict between governments more than the athletes themselves, right? I think, unless I could be mistaken, but I think athletes are usually very, very respectful to each other.
I think so.
And then I think, was it I can't remember what year, but that horrible tragedy in the 60s with the German Olympics. I mean, all the terrible stuff happened. It's just like, it's politics,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of get the feeling like you're kind of frustrated that maybe the athletes are kind of being used as pawns by governments. I don't know. Is that your frustration?
Yeah,
Perhaps?
maybe as long as the Olympics is organized the way it has been, maybe it could give some kind of opportunities to those leaders or governments to kind of use it for their political victory or something.
Was there something in particular that kind of frustrated you in the recent Olympics that made you want to kind of talk about it? Because we've known each other for years, decades, but this is the first time I'm hearing you share your opinions about the Olympics. Was there something particular that kind of
not really, but I just don't want the Olympics to just to be some bunch of World Cups put together. If Olympics is a special event, it should be held in a really special way, maybe. Let it play a better role in achieving what it wants to achieve, which is like a better world or better, more peaceful world, maybe.